Bienvenidos a segundo día de la Overwatch World Cup. Hoy juega Colombia contra México. Recuerden que Colombia ayer fue humillado. Tuvieron una paliza recomendada por Corea. Que me agrada que les haya gustado el video. Estuvo con bastante buena la votación. Por ahí vi que tiene como casi 100 visualizaciones en menos de un día. Y estamos aquí en Twitch. No estoy streameando porque pues ajá, estoy trabajando. Sí, o sea, Miguel se toma una pausa activa para hacer video para el canal de YouTube porque juega a Colombia. No, y aparte llevo trabajando todo el día, entonces me mereció descanso. Bueno, por acá estaban los drops, entonces tengo que estar pendiente también para reclamarlo. Recuerden que ustedes pueden reclamar drops en Twitch. No creo que cuente con YouTube, porque por ahí vi que están streamando en YouTube también. Pero creo que los drops cuentan solamente con Twitch. No sé si alguien me puede confirmar esa información. Y bueno, por ahí estuve viendo. ¿Dónde están vivo? Clásico spam. Por ahí vi que Finlandia le ganó a México. Lo que necesitamos es que Finlandia pierda. México también tiene que perder, obviamente, si queremos que Colombia gane, ¿no? Entonces tiene que ganar Colombia hoy, perder Finlandia y que sí, sea todo lo que Dios quiera. Ángel Volado. Bonito nombre. Momo es clásico también. Bueno, está buenos nombres ahí. Masa, Miki, Péstola. ¿Por qué se llama sauna? Sauna no es el lugar donde uno se hace masajes y todo. No, pues creo que sí. Hay algunos nombres en este juego que no tienen sentido, la verdad. Y en Colombia, Super Gómez, clásico, Drum, CDC, Chuk y Mixby. La embarrada es que no pongamos, no podemos tener a Eco. Eco creo que es de Arabia Saudita, si no estoy mal. Pero bueno, que se hace lo que Dios quiera. Es que parce, ese grupo papá ahí estuvo mortal, bro. Eso fue cuando Super Gómez tiró a Fearless, creo. Tenemos los vibes. Tenemos la energía, dice. Déjeme es una cosa, porque pronto se me puede estar viendo un trabajito. Y si ahí tenemos a bandera de Millonarios. Bien estamos en modo colombianos. ¿Se les ven bien? Sí.
Definitely they came with the PMA. This one should be more evenly matched. I'm very excited to see that team play again. And you know what? I'm all for the vibes. That's why I went
Colombia.
with Colombia for this one.
Bien, So va por Colombia, bien. So dice que ganamos 2-1. Dani, confiamos en ti, papi. La traición, hermano. La excepción, la traición, Dani.
I went with Mexico too in this
Johnny?
one. I really do think that, you know, it was not their best showing yesterday against Finland. But I think today it's a new
Colombia,
day.
yo sé que puedes demostrarles que sí se puede.
What's new? Like it always does. But it's a good day. It's a good day. And so I really do think that today is different for Mexico. And they're going to come out there and get their win here in the World Cup. So
you really like hit me with the Michael Bublé New Day, New Dawn kind of energy there. So,
exactly.
You know, yeah.
Tremendo. Nadie cree.
South Korea, but still applicable. Still applicable. It's a new day for both teams.
True. That's a fact. It's a new day.
That is factual. So let's see who can make it their own. For all the action, we're going to send it over to Mitch and Matt.
I mean, there's really nothing more profound than pointing.
Esos casters son buenísimos.
Yeah, did you know you get a day older every time?
Mitch es buenísimo como caster. Para los que vieron la Orgas League.
Yeah,
consider it.
I judge how long time is moving by just the way that you look. If I judged it by
¿Es
custom,
Smurf?
I wouldn't know. Custom.
Well,
Creí que el micrófono decía Smurf.
I aged about 40 years when I had my second kid, so
Oh,
I don't know if
sure.
that's an accurate way to do it. You're better off following the Mayan calendar, Matt. Welcome back, everybody, of course.
Vamos,
A lot
Colombia.
of action going on
Sí
here
se
now.
puede.
In this clash for Central America, these two teams, Colombia and Mexico, respectively, weren't put in the same groups. All right, there was Group A actually had 3 teams advanced. Group
Me
B
acuerdo cuando era niño, yo tenía el pelo
Mexico
casi
had
por
to
ese
go up
estilo
against the
largo.
United States and Canada.
Facts.
That was a
Pero
really
bueno.
brutal group to try and play through. They managed to get through in that 3rd place. Whereas Colombia, as we know, actually had a pretty comfortable run through that America's Group B. Showed us, obviously, a lot of talent. Yes, slightly
Yes,
different lineup
boy.
there, with EQO not so much a factor here. But for these two teams, Matt, they're looking at the rest of their group here thinking, wow, it's South Korea, it's Finland. How do we get amongst this mix of teams now? How do we give ourselves a shot at qualifying to the main event?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be tough. You just see, you know, obviously both.
Ey, ese man tiene el papelito que, o sea, no me acuerdo cómo se formaba eso. Y cuando usted le hacían así, toteaba. Yo no me acuerdo cómo se hacía eso, pero eso era bacano cuando ustedes lo toteaban. Hasta si ustedes lo hacían en clase, los profesores se emputaban. Era chévere eso.
In the Overwatch esports scene, and
Necesito aprender cómo se hacía esas vainas.
Check him out. I always throw him a host. Again, great guy to have.
Este man está
Obviously, the
irritable, güey.
mentorship is very important, I think, for a lot of these teams, which is showing up with you know, some fairly young, talented players. Having the guidance of Nomi there is pretty important. Let's jump into the series.
Okay, empezamos en
Obviously, both these
Ilios.
teams yet to find wins in this Group A. One of them, of course, will come out looking a little bit better though. Was Ilios.
Él es un paso para los que somos main hook y
The first map actually will be Samoa, so we'll get that one changed up. But it's a great. Oh, we got a wave going on here. All right, here we go. A little fanfare early on. I feel like you only see the wave at like baseball games now. I feel like it's kind of dated.
Bro, ya no más.
I like this. Everybody's
¿Qué
happy.
está haciendo, bro?
To be baited into these hijinks at the start of the game. They look a little bit more focused, I think.
Oye, todos tienen mouse inalámbricos. Yo juego con mouse de cable.
And then it's back to business here. So you'd be fool for thinking this was Hades. This is of course is the volcano stage of Samoa, where we will be starting this series after a quick pause, of course.
Creo que un error. Ese era el nuevo mapa, pero pues bueno. Bueno, creí que íbamos a jugar en Ilios. Pues, aparentemente no, vamos a jugar ese en Samoa. El nuevo mapa.
Yesterday we ended up casting it and really like how the map plays, like way different in terms of each stage. So
Esa más tiene igual las mismas horas que yo. Bro, somos 100 mujeres. En Colombia es normal no dormir. Vean eso. Quieren a ver si yo lo puedo poner acá. En Colombia somos team no dormir, bro. Que me baja la mi psicóloga, no veas. No me enteras, vamos. Tienen el juego pausado porque están arreglando problemas de sonido.
And then Volcano very different because we have a point that is, mostly covered, by those barriers here. So again, you really want to try and bully your way in. We saw the Doomfist used to great effect there, and a lot of pressure being put on Poco, primarily playing the Sigma, but also flexing to the Divas. So there's plenty of options here.
Hace poco vimos Japón con Arabia. Bueno, no lo vi, pero pues lo estuvimos viendo esto. Y hubo fue batalla de Sigma. Ambos jugaron Sigma. Ah, lo cambiaron. Ahora vamos a jugar en Samoa. Ok.
We don't have a loser, so we don't have a map 2 yet. Samoa will be map number 1, but we've seen a ton of Bastion early on here. At Overwatch World Cup, to be expected. Bastion in a really strong state. I was curious, if you're gonna see Sombra, with
ambos equipos vienen de perder. Ambos equipos. Se llama Sopa. Me gusta ese nombre. Me voy a poner Ajiaco. Voy a cambiar mi nombre de usuario por Ajiaco. ¿Chungwe? Ah, ok. ¿No se pararon un poco de speed?
This is a pretty straightforward composition for Mexico. I like that look here. Colombia do want to poke a little bit, I guess, with this.
Parce, amo cuando la gente usa Bastion y spamea el hola de Bastion. Es muy cute.
In terms of the comps, really, mirror matchups across the board outside of that. For me,
¿Alguien más que se impulsó con la granada?
Like right now.
Con el speed y la granada y casi llega al otro punto.
Say like who is the strongest tank in the game like overall.
Cersei, casi te mueres.
I think Sigma right now takes the cake, but I'm curious your POV.
Yeah, look, I think he does well with a lot of pressure being put on him here. You see this first thrust from Mexico?
Ya
This was
mataron
so
a...
durable, and still Colombia able to
Uy.
rebuild them. I think Immortality Field played a huge part in why Sigma is very strong up against a broad
Muy bien, Drew.
that you can buy yourself for that incremental damage.
A ver,
and
uno.
also the crowd control via accretion is really important. Colombia here, send drummer forward.
Ya,
and Paulette
ya era muy obvio que estaba
cannot
muerto.
handle
No,
it.
no, muy
It'll
obvio.
be a good start, but it's Colombian roster.
Turun.
For me, if you have a
Ese mapa es muy
immortality
troll.
field in the
Vean la
mix,
parte de
right, and
abajo.
then
Eso es un
you
hueco que hay
Sigma
ahí.
really
Es
takes
muy
it
troll esa
levels
parte.
properly. I mean, he doesn't even need to do that properly, right? I mean, with like a kinetic grasp with some bastion damage, other stuff. Like he can just live. It feels like forever. Where the Orisa like spear spin fortify, and then like you're in a lot of trouble.
And Matrix is out for both their back team players.
No, marica, pero no, no hagan push tanto.
Mexico away from that immortality field, but Mexico try and
That
keep the
is
fight
that
within their
melody.
zone. Paulette, they're going to be caught inside the gravitic flux, and Super Gomez
Como Main Sigma.
there. What a nice little three-piece for Colombia.
Hermosa 3K. Grande Super Gómez.
So many elements to sort of prolong this Sigma's
Turun.
durability, that lifespan, to allow him to have great.
Ay, no lo spameó.
They played aggressive. They sped
Te odio, Drew.
with this Sigma setup behind the window.
Yeah, typically like a Sigma, you wouldn't really have like a Lucio with like,
Orisa
speed
puede
and
devolverlas.
right? But start to cut down so much damage as we got a artillery early here.
Sí. Ahorita las puedo volver con esa habilidad.
From that cannon barrage.
Con el espiral las puedo volver.
To send you up into the path of those mortar shells. But
Mexico's gonna have beat here, so should have
Es ahora nunca. Es ahora nunca.
here thrown out. Neither team really having their advance prevented, and the sound barrier now
Muy
going to come
bien.
out from Soap. But this is where the pressure needs
Uy,
to start.
casi lo tumban.
Field for Colombia is already out of the picture now. The Blizzard also thrown down. Mexico investing very heavily in this fight. They'll get what they came for sure, but sound barrier and Blizzard get expended.
Yeah, it's
Uy,
nice
casi
to
sacan
have
a Bastion.
everybody on the team.
Casi se Bastion fuera del mapa.
Colombia, I feel like it's gonna be okay with this though, right? I mean, you give up the point, you get 80%.
Ahora sabes que es bueno ser main Lucio.
Build up like Blizzard and Matrix beat of your own.
Porque el speed ayuda
use all
bastante.
of those to flip the point back, and then they're in a spot to win.
Todos ahí,
Look at
re.
this. It looks like
Todos
Mexico
ahí.
getting a little bit
I like this. Trying to catch Colombia coming out.
No.
Time and
Uy.
down. Drummer taken down. Angel Volado able to connect there, and here comes Carson pushing straight forward again. Hug can't even stand within an immortality field here. Will be shoved away.
Colombia, they use the Blizzard here.
And maybe it's worth
Ah, bueno,
maybe it's worthwhile
Cersei.
with the sound barrier in the back pocket in case things go pear-shaped. Colombia have a chance to get back towards the point here. They just speed the Baptiste back with the rest of their team, and yeah, they'll have a player advantage on point.
Yeah, that's interesting. That you catch a few players off guard. This will be Angel Volado with an artillery here. Sound barrier comes in for Colombia. Connects with 3.
Bixby almost overextending there, able to get back just in time. The ice block absolutely crucial for Chobolux there to stay in the fight. Maywall broken down pretty darn quickly here as we see Mexico want to get a piece of this point. They still control it for the time being, but that's a massive gravitic flux.
¡Oh!
They come down. Cersei and Mixby able to finish the job.
Hermoso
Another
gravity
huge Sigma
flux.
play from Super Gomez.
The immortality
Bien.
will keep you alive,
Grande Super
right? But
Gómez,
it doesn't,
bien.
keep everybody topped up in terms
Y
of
se
health.
pasaron a
People still
Soldier
dropping
y...
to the ground after that flux.
Ok, Soldier,
Basically,
Tracer
man, it is.
y Dumpis.
Trying to get on here to contest.
Okay.
Maywall comes in.
Siéntate, papá.
Just gets beaten up.
Well, what goes up must come down, Matt. 99%.
Ey, imagínate la roca calculada y todo.
Three players to work with.
No, salve una Bastion.
Trying to find at least something on Drummer. Hug
Caso
also
ya está muerto.
gets a regenerative burst just in time. Meanwhile, Super Gomez more solo.
Bien.
And a great start here for Colombia, working this Sigma composition and great defensive utility.
Bien, esto viene.
To win in the long game.
Esperen, quiero mirar si ya puedo reclamar mis
I
drops.
feel like has the sturdiness to kind of like battle the Sigma.
Déjeme estar trabando re feo,
Quite frankly, I think like
pero
the
re feo.
one tank that you
Ay, no,
kinda,
no tengo drops
you know, I was gonna
todavía.
say, like Doom, right? If you want to play aggressive, like circumvent.
No,
the
no tengo
Sigma,
drops todavía.
Go around, right? You think that could be the answer?
Inserte aquí una canción triste que no puedo editar el
You
video
wanna
porque
play
me
Bastion
perece en el
May?
tiempo.
I think you gotta play Sigma with that.
Pero ya
It looks
después lo
like
pondré
it's
para
gonna make the
TikTok.
change.
Understandably,
Tu,
a
tu.
little bit harder to brawl on a map like this.
Me encanta
It's not
Bastion.
enclosed like it is on Volcano. So
Lo hizo otra vez.
poking from long range, and I want to keep an eye on Angel Volado.
Güey, el
We saw this
speed de
Soldier and matchup
de
with
Bastion cuando se
really
impuso con la
important
granada es
in
muy
Japan.
bacano.
On this stage especially, especially with these Sigma setups, you can have a lot of space, a lot of room to breathe here. So
Tienen high
you
ground.
really need to be delivering on this Sojourn if you're going to be facilitated to that degree.
The damage output though is so strong.
Bien, Colombia empezó bien dominando el high ground.
Like the amount of shield pressure and just, overall, it's gonna really, test Mexico's healing resources. Right there, Drummer gonna get that first pick.
Yeah, you mentioned that damage output and
Por favor, no se les olvide que tienen un Soldier atrás, gracias.
for most of that fight, but the sideline isn't perfect and there's no ability to really manufacture those insta kills via railgun.
Soldier puede ganar bastante daño por la parte trasera.
Which is pretty frustrating. You need your key DPS player from Mexico to have big impact here, even early in the fight. Super Gomez maybe slight overextension there into Mexico's immortality field. Castle able to deal with Cersei, and Mixfeet is on the run. A good start for Colombia, but eventually Mexico bait them in.
Bueno.
Some really nice healing.
Bueno.
Able to keep Castled up, and I don't know if you caught it where Castle just at like a little bit less than half HP started kinetic grasp and like.
Okay, ya México va a presionar y todo.
A ton of damage there.
Pap tiene ult.
Mexico gets a flip, and they'll have an Ant Matrix here to work with.
Decent spot for her as well. Palet throws it down here, ideally to boost that healing as fighting comes to a head. Drummer comes out of that assault configuration now, looks ahead to the lower ground, but sees a Sigma in the way. They just want to
No, man.
catch him. Nothing that one, and a beautiful gravitic flux from Castle to seal the deal. That's
4K.
consecutive fight wins for Mexico.
Yeah, it looks like
Nah, parce, Gomez.
Cersei were actually stuck in
Gomez
the blizzard in the flux. Like their bodies didn't really go up that much.
Tremenda.
Still took the damage
Estamos viendo unos Sigma.
from that flux and the blizzard.
Sigma
was
meta.
coming in. So Mexico 2 quick fights in a row, and they'll jump up to 50%.
Sound barriers here for both sides. That Ant Matrix really paying off by Palette. They threw that down on the top of the point here, and it was really important to deal with that alpha.
Señor, sigue atrás. Esa es la ventaja de conocer el mapa re bien.
Okay, we have an off angle here with that overclock. Maywall comes out though, Angel Velado now, and he has the one target to go for, and that's probably not the one you want to face down at that range.
No fue muy buena ulti que se dio, pero bueno.
Barrier came down. Sopa, not sure what happened there. Not ideal here for Mexico. Super Gomez looks to try and pressure the point in charge from behind. It's an accretion coming his way. Sigmas now want to face off here. Bear in mind, Mexico still have control of the point after those key couple of fights. Colombia need to try and close this out, but Angel Velado still uncontested, playing for that high ground. They'll get another one.
Ventajas de dominar muy bien el high ground.
You can't take the fight against like Drummer and the Bastion, right? But like in those off angles, like he's able to put down significant amounts of damage as Mexico looking to tie it up.
¿Alguien toca?
The low ground
Sí, se está tocando.
no blizzard available here. The strike from Drummer doesn't find any purchase, and Cersei had to go and stall. That was the only option that Colombia had. It's such a long walk back. That accretion is perfect. Mixfeet never had a chance to alight on the point. And Mexico, after a slower start,
Sopa mató a Circe con él.
Yeah, no, Colombia did a
Con el
really good
buff.
job pushing the pace early on, and then once Mexico got control of the point, that was it. They were never able to get in position. As the Drummer at the start was able to get control
Tema
of
más
that
bonito.
bridge area, I would say.
En skills es muy bacano
After
pasar.
that, we're not able to get that bash.
Widowmaker,
So
Echo,
see if there's any comp change. Looks like Colombia, they are fully committed. Mexico,
Bridget.
potentially some changes.
Ok, eso es un...
okay.
Voy a sacar quieto.
We've seen this before. Obviously from
Okay.
Team Japan. Some teams just don't
100 metros
like
yo creo que es solo como para
Sigma,
ayudar al
it's
equipo
probably
a que
very
lleguen
positional
rápido.
and
Ya
really
después se cambia.
requires you to control that high ground, and if you don't have a Lucio, you just don't have the chance to really fight for it. Not nearly as quickly.
Se van por lados que no son.
We've seen this a bunch from some teams. Very different.
Por high ground.
And I think if you're going to play Echo Tracer, the tank to play with it is the Doom. Specifically against these types of comps, Doom has superior mobility. Really to even like a Winston and Ball at this point. Even Diva, right? Being able to use the Seismic Slam or the punch to get out of harm's way.
Angel Velado's made his way around the backside here on that
dormir.
sleep on Drummer. Looked like that was inside assault configuration as well, so really limiting the DPS output of Colombia in that moment. Cersei is able to poke freely, but maybe doesn't realize the pressure is coming towards him over on the point.
Hay colocado uno, creo.
In there and extract Hug. With that focusing beam and Drummer's so low, just a strong wind would blow him over. This is a
Parce,
great from Mexico. They are
Circe y Durum tienen que cambiar de
And
DPS.
Colombia, right? They're kind of just playing pretty much together
Ahí
around
está.
the corner. Mexico's totally okay with them
Bueno,
playing
vamos
that type of
a
style because they want to like
Tracer,
poke from every
Circe,
direction, right? They want to have
Echo.
Gelato on one side.
Okay, va a ser un mirror match.
The other, like Castle, you know, just jumping in, putting down some damage, maybe getting a stun off. Now it'll be Colombia with a. Now we're gonna get like a full-on mirror matchup.
Una buena bomba.
For the brig.
Oh.
Decision to make, but it comes up short and Huck's able to shield. It doesn't matter though, because Angel Gelato wraps around the back and gets it done the old-fashioned way. Hug ain't going nowhere right now. 28% and counting here for Mexico, and good old-fashioned Tracer
Muy
flank.
bien. Hasta ganan el combate de mirror
At
match.
least, you know, giving them a heal or something.
Little heal.
Yeah, a little heal.
Bien.
A little shot, maybe a little bio grenade there.
But
going
at
his way,
the same time, Super Gomez, I think, has gone in. So Mixby is looking absolutely elsewhere at that moment.
Ángel se está dando un paseo por el campo de Colombia. Ah, bueno. Grande, Ángel. Ángel está como marica, acá no hay nadie, entonces.
Probably like, look, if I help you, there's a chance I die. So you figure that out.
All right, drumming out, making the switch over towards the Tracer.
Brillita. ¿Por qué dice Brillita?
This is a pretty scary prospect. The meteor strike cancelled, flattens the back.
Bueno. Ah, bueno, lo desgaste. Ah, bueno, lo desgaste.
Nano being handed over to the brig. That's a scary prospect indeed. Sopa wants to surge ahead here, but realizes that duration is ticking down and wants to stay in a position to benefit the rest of the team. 99 plays
¿Se han dado cuenta que Colombia ni siquiera tocó el punto?
straight away, and you need to be looking out for the tactical visor in this fight. Colombia may not need it though. Getting rid of Chobalax early.
Ya tocamos el punto, eso es bueno.
Tremendous job from the supports on Colombia.
Adiós, Doom.
Super Gomez alive.
Bueno.
You saw on his player cam, he was like shocked he was alive.
Ángel otra
He
vez
was like,
como si
"Wait,
nada."
what?" So, he ends up on the ground.
Ángel tiene
He's
ulti,
bioed for a
Circe
little
tiene
bit. He
ulti.
power blocks, like gets the nano. I mean, just tremendous stuff able to keep him up. He falls there. I mean, that is map in favor of Mexico's. Colombia now with some signs of life. You have this tac visor here up in the high ground.
Cersei with attack visor here. Getting Chobalax out of the fight would be crucial. But look at the pressure on the soldier.
Oh.
They're going to find the kill. Bite grenade came in towards the back line of Colombia, but Cersei unperturbed. And that'll be enough.
No fue una buena ulti, pero bueno.
It's going to have to be enough for now. Cersei still has a lot of room to breathe. Mexico may have a crack at this with 4.
You see, you've lost Mixby here for Colombia, so that's like your largest source of healing out of the way. If you're Colombia, you know, you gotta just sustain on through this for the next little bit. Yeah, this is really aggressive. Wait, where did Drummer go?
Huck was able to turn the shield.
Y casi muere soldado.
I don't know what happened to the Tracer.
Uy.
Not ideal. Colombia are gonna have to work without the Tracer and Super.
Hay alguien que toque.
Pressure here. The Bite grenade came in, but
Gomez
they get the
toca.
safety just
Cersei.
in time.
No, marica, alguien que toque.
Good recall timing there from Drummer. That was
Parce, no hagan sin nada.
elimination as the focusing beam just came in from Chobalax.
Ay, su madre, se estrellaron. Ay, su madre, mandaron a Gómez a dormir otra vez.
From that brig pressure is pretty scary, but oh my goodness, I don't think Super Gomez intended to fight Angel Gelato with that. They just walked into a random seismic slam.
Hola, Gómez.
And
Sépale.
they're gonna be able to stay in the fight.
But okay, so Colombia will
Ah,
end up staying in the
no.
fight to flip this. But Mexico did end up flipping the point back towards
Parce,
themselves.
Gómez se estrella
This one could have been
contra
like percentage,
contra
you know,
Virgil y es que lo mandan a dormir.
Colombia
Qué güey madre.
probably up close to winning the game. Ends up, you know, not earning anything, right? Because Mexico had flipped the points. So
Ok, los dos Tracers
pretty
tienen ulti.
fortunate there for that to be able to happen. They have a rally and a nano coming in. They're in a fantastic spot to maybe flip this.
Pulse bombs up for both sides.
Uy.
No good again, an easy brig
Ah,
kill.
soldier.
Shield too strong, Castle in deep trouble. Great Bite grenade response there from Mixby and the rally
Oh.
for that extra durability. Sopa pops theirs as well, but this is dangerous territory for Mexico to be in. Power that is brought down. Colombia might be able to make a big old comeback here after being at 0% for so much
Mana
of
ulti,
the round.
papi.
Chobalax out of dupe. Cersei able to survive the sticky bombs and drop.
Soldier
into the
tiene
bionic
ulti.
field.
¿Qué pasó?
Gotta hurt in the morning. We
No,
have- What in the
pero ¿por qué ahora?
That can't be real. That is utterly
Ah, no te creo y justo lo habían tomado el
a
punto.
resolution of the round.
Wait, what?
And a pause is still called, I think, by somebody. Oh, World Cup never changed.
Ah.
So maybe an audio issue or something. We'll see what's.
Vuelve y juega el problema de... No,
We're not
Mari.
at the end of a round. What is it? It's like we
Ah.
have ice in the kicker here. You know, like.
I don't know, I would be absolutely I'd be thinking about that if I was going to lose a round and I have to stare at the 100 to 99 indicator on my screen for any length of time.
Gómez tiene
You're
dos
like,
audífonos.
Mexico, you're coming off the
¿Ves?
respawn,
Estos manes tienen
just
dos
sitting there
audífonos.
staring at it, 99, like, as
Unos
they're about to just win,
pequeños.
like, we'll
Bueno, no
see
entiendo.
what's going
Well, I
on
think
here.
Porque
obviously,
tienen
like,
tantos au-
I'm
¿Será que
not
con
100%
uno
sure,
se
but
comunican
that
con
game
otras
had
personas? No
actually
entendí.
action the pause.
Oh yeah, a quick.
Ay,
old
jugar
tip
así
there,
debe ser
real quick.
raro. Raro. No sé hablar.
Yeah.
They're
All right, yeah,
queuing up they're queuing up the victory tunes on on YouTube or something.
Oh, yeah, they just said turn up the volume on the lo-fi beats to study and troll your opponent to.
This will be one of the more interesting. Say, hey, we're coming back from a pause. All right, it's over.
Alright, GG's. Ganó Colombia. Vamos.
It's like you're about to land a knockout punch and you just stop with your fist in front of them. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see what happens here. I mean,
if it was boxing, they rigged the scores coming back in, right? I mean, that's.
So glad this is happening. Okay, so Angel Volado can probably touch here. They do. Okay, so we actually have our overtime. Love to see that. Tactical advice here from Cersei, though. Definitely wants to try and end this now, but there are no.
No me digas que Soldier se gastó su ulti.
Rich environment, but look at that Helix rocket at the feet of Angel Volado. Tough for Mexico to come back from this one. No support Optimus to work with. Chobolux coming to the point and the Soldier just for the mobility, if anything else. And it's it's a tough one. You're walking up to the gallows if you're Mexico after that pause because you know exactly what the writing on the wall says. Big
Bien Colombia. Believers. Believers.
They'll take the first map.
Yeah, it felt like we already got the celebration before it actually ended. So now they're not even that happy, but not really strong performance. I mean, that last round, right? Colombia battled back. I mean, they were in a rough spot. You know, Mexico put together a really good lead. It looked like they were doing fantastic with that like dive Mexico. And then Colombia just kind of switched to it and figured it out themselves. So
Bien por Colombia, bien por.
Yeah, being able to do that on the fly, I think is a really big deal.
Pero creo que necesito cerrar es Photoshop. Yo cierro Photoshop porque creo que pronto se me puede dar un problema a la gas. Aparte lo tengo en Full HD.
And come in and play that composition so effectively, it's a big deal. I think the Soldier 76 from Cersei was pretty important there in that last map, but let's go back towards a very interesting Orisa versus Sigma matchup on Volcano.
Ok, déjeme yo guardo este trabajo y ya.
Orisa's still a really strong tank. I think you just see the power that Sigma
C3K de Super Gómez son muy buenos con
so
Sigma.
many different things. Mexico goes to it in round number 2 and they come out on top.
Yeah, again, we see like great setups on the high ground.
Cuádruple,
They
tío.
get a big amplification matrix there that really just helps that healing through. But this will happen to Drummer, by the way. Oh, buddy, was that a punch or a backwards blink?
Map's new. It's all right.
Yeah, that's right. Still got to get your sea legs under you.
It even happened to Danny Lim. It could happen to anybody.
Okay, if that happened to Daniel Lim, I wouldn't feel bad about it at all.
Hiya.
This is the game state midway through the round. This is after Colombia make that switch up there, and
Yeah.
they're able to come back to take Samoa away 2-1 in round
México
four.
selecciona el próximo
Very
mapa.
competitive match so far, and I'm curious to see now what the Mexico pick is
Oh,
going to be.
Circus Royal, mapazo.
From these
I was gonna say, Mexico
Ese mapa es
had
muy
some
god.
options, right? They looked pretty good on the dive, right? Colombia ends up coming out on a dive of their own and ends up like winning it at the end. They're probably looking at their success in, you know, map number 2, right? In that Sigma v Sigma matchup, and then saying, hey, let's take that as opposed to trying to go to another dive map pick and circuit.
Yeah, more poke comps coming up in Circuit Royale. It's map number 2 in this matchup in Group A between Mexico and Colombia. Don't go too far.
Don't go so don't go anywhere, dirían. Don't go anywhere, diría Michael Giovanni de AEW. Temazo. Bueno, mientras termina, veamos los combates que ha pasado. Tailandia perdió 2-0 contra España, que por cierto los soportes de España son muy coats. Japón contra Arabia. Arabia tiene un tanque tremendo que es KCA. Colombia va ganando hasta el momento. China contra Hong Kong, que es un muy buen combate. Y creo que de ese combate, de ese grupo sale ese también. O sea, este y este es un grupo. Francia, Estados Unidos. En Estados Unidos creo que va a estar súper. Por ahí vi un trailer. Y Canadá, Australia. Quad. Es un puro combate quad. Gracias, ma. Ok, voy a almorzar porque van a 3 de la tarde. ¿Verdad? ¿Qué más? Vamos a ver por acá. Group B standings. El viernes, no sé cuál sea, Australia ha ganado, Canadá ha perdido y Brasil perdió. Ah, sí, en España, Tailandia, China y Hong Kong. Sí, ¿qué más se ve por acá? Arabia, Japón. Arabia ganó su combate. Japón ha perdido y ha ganado. Estados Unidos, como que todavía no ha jugado. Y en este mapa, en este grupo que es Corea y Finlandia, que ya han ganado. Necesitamos es que. Es que creo que es México el que se enfrenta con Corea mañana. Y ahí la idea es que o Corea o Finlandia pierdan. Cada uno de esos dos sí o sí debe perder mañana. Porque no creo que haya empate. Entonces, si uno de esos dos debe perder. O sea, si Colombia la gana ahorita, ¡pum! Y después era Colombia-Finlandia. Ya tenemos de todo para hacerla bien. Wey, ¿cómo es que todavía no tengo los drops? Me sorprende que todavía no tengo drops. Déjame yo confirmo una cosa. ¿Por qué todavía no tengo drops? Esto me falta. Yo 90% para reclamar la skin de Orisa. 63 para el grupo B. Y el de para me faltan 45% y 14 horas. No, mariacas. O sea, sí o sí uno se tiene que maratonear todo esto. Bueno, sí, o sea, me estoy excediendo, pero ajá. Yo no voy a ver la Overwatch League. En el grupo de Colombia.
From top to bottom, this Group A has looked like it's been delivering so far. Colombia and Mexico feature in this particular matchup. Two teams naturally struggling against Finland and South Korea respectively. But when it comes to this rivalry here in Central America, they are leaving it all out there. And Samoa was a great demonstration of this. It was a little bit of a slow start.
Un cambio en México por lo que puedo ver.
But Colombia, I want to put pressure on them.
Hysteria se llama. Momo.
Let's talk subs here, Matt. Hysteria and Momo come in for Mexico.
Yeah, so
Okay, dos cambios para México.
Okay. So should tell you potentially maybe you know, they want to have Hysteria and maybe they feel like he's the stronger Sigma of the two. Maybe that's also why we saw Castle come out on the Orisa at the start. Then Moen, maybe you don't feel like you need to play Lucio here. You can play a little bit more of a flex support based support line.
Okay, Colombia no hizo cambios, así que
these two teams were capable of when it came to the Sigma play, and I guess Mexico probably maybe feeling a little bit forced into that position. There didn't seem to be any debate about it when we headed over to beach. Although of course Volcano gave you an option to brawl. It's got to be frustrating that Orisa composition doesn't.
Estamos a Circuit Royal.
We've definitely seen a lot of teams.
Faltaría un mapa de seguir el robot.
More than happy to play
Sería yo,
even
es como
Orisa at
tercero.
times to try and get up in the enemy space and deny a lot of that space. Again,
No sé cómo juega Hysteria, la verdad, no lo he visto.
Into the Sigma. And Brazil gave Australia so much room. Australia really got to push the battle lines up sort of.
Okay, Colombia mantiene el mismo equipo.
In a matchup between two compositions that want to poke, we're gonna be looking at the DPS. We're gonna be looking at a long-range hit scan if Mexico come out of the gates with it.
I do think,
now you see me, now you don't.
Reinhardt in the sim like Lucio is really interesting against like the Sigma base comps.
Deberían hacer una estatua pasión, va a
I think
ser
it's
super
just way
cute.
harder to execute. That's why like you don't see like anybody really do it at like a.
Paulette creo que está haciendo
but it's not like
un
something that
concierto gratuito
everybody
con el
can
piano.
replicate, right? You think
Por eso es que vamos a hacer mapa también
previous
para el
is
piano.
like goats. A lot of teams could throw together goats, but like to play it at a really high level, like pretty difficult, right? I think it's the same thing with the Reinhardt base comp with the Symmetra. It's like, yeah, like in theory, like yeah, we can probably do it, but you have to execute it really perfectly to be able to beat some of these comps. Where Mexico will come out with double sniper
Vamos a
here, so
Senja.
this will be an interesting look. I mean, double sniper feels like a kind of comp that's been like gone for a while. It still maybe has like damage output to be able to burst some of these targets down.
And that might be the issue here as well. We see the switch over towards the Sojourn here for Angel Volado, and Chobolux is actually managed to find his way to the back line. this is extremely risky. But again, being able to outposition a Sigma, a poke.
Cho está bastante arriesgado jugando así todo alejado del equipo.
You know, break the powerful
Está haciendo
poke
Cho.
elements of it up into more manageable pieces. But I mean, you have Lucio here for the defenders.
Yeah, but look, their Hanzo.
Pero ¿por qué ignora?
I mean, if you're Colombia, just leave him there and go. Yeah, like Mixie, just look back and check and just push and just bully them, right?
And that's how much flexibility this Lucio setup gives you. It's actually going to be a trade though. Hysteria goes down, so Sigma out of the picture now for the attackers means that Super Gomez can sort of lean into this a little bit more. Trevelux does nothing for the last 20 seconds and then gets kinetic grasp. Much of that damage is being shut down.
Oh, Rocasa.
And eventually Colombia come home to roost and deal with the... Made the right choice, but they have a Lucio in this setup, right? So you can be flexible in that regard.
You have somebody turn, kind of mark that Hanzo, push him away, right? You know, Mixie gets right up in his face, pushes him really far out. Then just speed around the corner and take a 5v4.
Here comes a gravitic flux here from Mexico.
Qué buena idea usar el muro en medio para esconderse.
Follow up on the players that are held aloft, and the immortality field is very straightforward for Colombia. Do they shrug off that ultimate? Yes, they give up a little bit of ground here, but Mexico's next power play involves this amplification matrix.
Oh, it's a nice Maywall there, though, from
Hay gente que
Cersei.
pone la ventana en el carro y se mueve con la ventana.
Mayballs that shut down big ultimates on the side.
Ok, ok. Ah, bueno. Bien, Mixby.
But first, Cersei shuts down the follow-up on players held aloft inside the gravitic flux, and then, of course, it blocks off.
Oh, para darle el espitabación.
Gotta go get Drummer back in the fight. Squirt the Presidente back in.
Bien, esa es la idea.
The artillery here for this next fight is, and dude, you're in a great spot if you're Colombia, right? You're gonna have everything outside of beat here. I feel like you're in complete control, able to, you know, dominate this corner. What do you got? Transcendence here, probably for Flux coming up.
I mean, yeah, you want to be inside the flux. If you're not in it, things can get a little awkward. All right, here comes Sebastian ult from Drummer. Into the gravitic flux, excuse me, there from Super Gomez. Can't let caught there by the Bastion ult, so perhaps they were just held in place. Angel Velado finally, though, turning up here. It's going to be an overclock that yields 2 kills. Blizzard was committed to the fight as well by Mexico, and they...
Ah, bueno.
Best after spending so much, you can't be feeling good with less than a minute on the clock.
I like, you know, I love how we have the player cams and everybody on LED. You get to see some stuff
Beat.
where, you know, we're on with Drummer for a little bit, and he's, you know, looking over, and he's looking over at Super Gomez's screen where he's gonna flux and know exactly where to drop that artillery right on top. And now you have Paulette. They're gonna go over and play the Lucio here. Get back in the fight. You already end up using that Transcendence, so maybe get a little bit more speed in the mix.
You got one more fight. That's it. Immortality field already down. Hysteria is going to be hit by the increase.
Parce, le queda uno.
At the very least here. Can you keep Super Gomez healed up enough before he drops down? The answer is yes, but you don't have an immortality field.
No, se muere Super Gómez.
You take a ton of damage. Your Baptiste is desperately trying to work to keep you alive, but eventually a great flux is going to give Mexico a
Oh, parce, buenísima.
They had a really nice
Bien,
there
bien.
on the Super Gomez, like knocked him back towards.
¿Para qué te digo que no? Si sí, eso bueno.
They're able to finish him off as Mexico barely gets over the line. Though pretty good defense there from Colombia
Yeah.
point A.
Yeah, I mean, it just falls apart.
Hello,
Maybe.
hello.
I think it was an early immortality.
Eso es bacano cuando uno le spamea hello.
Going on in the front line. Maybe like they aren't tracking a Sigma ultimate from Hysteria there.
Así juego yo, May. Disparo random secundario.
Direct hitting Super Gomez in when he's in the flux to keep him above 50%, but just too much damage.
Doble muro.
So Colombia now set their feet behind this Amp Matrix, Matt.
And I was gonna say you knew you could go with Amp Matrix there because you got the Maywalls out, right? Both teams end up using the Maywall. It's actually really nice use of the kinetic rest there from Hysteria. Actually, like used it like over towards the side, ends up keeping the May alive.
You got to back away from that Amp Matrix here. If you're Colombia, yours doesn't quite pay off. Both teams able to avoid them here, but ultimately it's Mexico gaining ground. Cersei, after such a fantastic start, gets caught there by Chovelux. And now Colombia have to try and make this defense happen with 4. They do have some key ultimates, though. Sound barrier is going to be there. Flux also available now with the Blizzard also thrown at the start of the fight. No chance for Super
Buena ulti, marica.
Fantastic preemption there from
Muy
Chovelux
buena ulti.
to set things up for a last push of the map.
Yes, Mexico finding some signs of life here. And really, it's once they went over and brought the Lucio.
Hay 4 ultis en Colombia.
Have that speed, close the gap. really, if you survive, so the thing
4
is,
ultis en Colombia para mantenerlo.
has an advantage in terms of like a highest potential damage output, right? You would say with the Bastion inside of, Wheels mode. If Bastion is out of that, right, then the damage output actually probably sways over more towards Mexico to about even. Where if you can survive this, right, like this is great, right, for Mexico. Drummer uses that early, and then now maybe you can engage.
Down barrier here for Mexico. Colombia holding on to theirs maybe until a more opportune moment, and this is it. Hundo doesn't benefit from it. Still able to stay alive with that immortality field, but Angel Volado has a shooting range at their disposal. Only the 1 kill though for Mexico, and again this aggressive
bien.
DPS is going to
¿Quiénes quedan?
Angel Volado might not want to hang around.
Ah.
She's not to.
The Sojourn screw. There is off the side. Yeah, extreme.
El más se ríe es por el grito que hace Sojourn cuando se va a morir. Ok, Ángel se pasó a Bastion.
I mean, trying to record those voice lines must be really tiring. That just occurred to me. You know?
All right, we need you to scream like you're falling from a 100-foot building again.
Enough of that from me over the last 6 years.
My ultimate is ready.
They have a lot of footage on you.
And make sure the receipts have been kept. And Matrix here up and available for Momo. A substitution coming in for Mexico. Paulette, they have been moved on to Lucio. So there's a question maybe of Mexico thinking they didn't need Lucio, or we didn't
Huge
weren't worried
impact
so
on
much
Lucio
about it.
as well.
Yep. Drummer here from the high ground, that'll pressure that Sigma barrier away, further slowing up Mexico. We're again under 1 minute. Colombia have done a really good job in these last couple of fights, being able to stave off the attackers, but they don't have any ultimates to work with right now. I know Cersei's desperately trying to accrue another blizzard, but there may not be enough time here. Look at the damage on Super Gomez, and well, Drummer couldn't get inside the immortality field at all. Super Gomez, though, good kinetic grasp that's going to be able to keep them up a little bit longer. It's enough time for Cersei.
No me digas que ahora le tocó.
They fall after the fact, though. Can you follow up with this? It's just
Oh.
they're caught in the blizzard, and then the gravitic flux comes down. Hysteria takes an absolute battering at 2 versus 3.
No.
Drummer's going to be burned down, and Hugna comes to the point on the Kiriko. 1 versus 2 won't get it done, and Mexico looking to squeak in. No chance to touch there as the Bastion ultimate came through. Very close conclusion.
No, parce, zero combat.
Yeah, I actually thought, Mexico, I mean, they come up super clutch, right? As Colombia does a great job on that first point. And then they really just kind of, once they're able to get that, they do a nice job completing the rest of the map. So now ball in Colombia's court. Try and answer. Typically, we do see teams get stalled out there at the end of this map. So can be a pretty dangerous situation here for Colombia.
They're having time.
Pero drums suenan por ahí.
Push. Pretty impressive stuff there from Mexico. Again, like a 2 versus 3. Blizzard in a gravitic flux any other day would be absolutely devastating.
Pap se gastó la ventana. El campo de inmortalidad.
To seal the deal. Love that.
Yeah.
Really been a competitive series so far.
Oh yeah.
But now Mexico have to convert on a really nice attack here to push us to a third.
I mean, this is what World Cup's about, right? You get all these awesome, like, close matchups. Take a look at this here at the end.
Lo de Ángel fue tremendo.
When you say Bastion is strong, this is why. And just then here comes the Reaper guy towards the end. It already used the Wraith form to get out of the spawn. Nothing you can do there.
No, lo de Ángel al final fue tremendo. Eso no se lo podemos negar.
To get to the point, so Angel Volado just goes and blows them up instantly. All right, well, could have gone either way that one, I'll be honest with you. Colombia now must finish the map as well and take us to some extra innings. Composition rise. We actually have a mirror now. Bastions from both teams. Maywall thrown up here to try and cut Angel Volado's potential DPS output. And it does put Colombia at an advantage here. They get rid of that immortality field, and Jovalax has fallen. Angel Volado pointing pressure back.
Angel Volado did a really nice job. We call it in that replay there towards the end with the Bastion grenade.
Pelo move, lo estás grooving.
Temas. Kinetic grasp of Super Gomez just kind of throws it to the side and kills him with the splash damage. That time you saw it from Mexico's POV, the splash damage that comes in from Drummer's grenade. I mean, just sends like a few of them underneath the bridge up into the sky and chunks their HP, and they all crumble after that.
All right. Good stuff from Colombia there. The main wall pretty devastating for Angel Volati, but this time they just go straight on through it. Immortality field to kick the basket.
No, la salva. Uy,
A
pap.
lot of healing to be done in those last couple of moments, and Cersei just gets caught. We might just see Colombia, yeah, completely reset here after losing the main.
Yeah, you don't have that May wall.
La roscaza, parce.
There's a second shield. Yeah, this is a death reset here. Everybody.
Well, it feels like this is why Lucio is important, even though you are playing a poke composition. You maybe don't think about mobility so much.
Lucio es bastante importante en una partida.
Being able to chase like that, get that extra ult charge,
Se speeda jump bastante.
stagger is pretty crucial.
Well, if you have no shield, you have no May wall, right? No kinetic grasp. Like you need something to, kite some of the damage, right? Especially if they're kind of engaging with a speed boost. Yeah.
Hysteria really reluctant to get this high ground up, and this is why. Gravitic Flux comes in. Oh, this is going to be a killer mix for you. They couldn't do much about that one. They would have dropped and died either way. Hysteria now surrounded, though. The Blizzard may be unexpected. Cersei deploys it, but Hysteria is still able to find a kill on the make here. This is going horribly wrong for Colombia. They spent so much in that fight and again get repelled.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge
Ay,
shot
casi se la
there
come.
that comes in there. From Paulette has got a really nice map there on the Lucio. Landing that sound barrier, pushing on up is, yeah, I mean, this is not going well for Colombia, right? And now you come back, what? You have a flux,
tiene
but you have
ulti.
the immortality field to kind of like live through that. Is
Listen here for Trobolux. Wall thrown up.
Bueno.
You know, good money after bad. By
Bueno. La ulti que saca, no.
Just have the advantage deployed as soon as you can in that small room, and there's no
Tremendo. Eso fue en hermoso 4K.
loses this, they're in a great spot.
Bien
right?
planificado y
In terms of,
todo.
like, this next fight. So, you lose. Oh, that's pretty rough. Because you can, in theory, right? If you were evenly matched, you can play close up and force some of these ultimates.
La pregunta del millón es ¿por qué Colombia no cambia?
They know they have a player advantage. They're going to try and
¿Por qué Colombia no cambia héroes?
You can't play as close as spawn door or force these ultimates out. That's a huge pick.
Not just player advantage here. They have that sound barrier edge over Mexico coming into this next fight. And if
¿Será que les dejan tomar el punto? No creo.
That's a devastating pick off there. Mixby just firing into the void and finding a key elimination. Here comes the Flux. Super Gomez playing safe because they know there's an M-Matrix in play. Kinetic Grass comes up and have a look at the overshield that they got. A lot of damage mitigated there. We still need to convert. The plane needs to be landed here. Troblux comes out of Ice Block and takes damage from both the Sigma and the May simultaneously. Super Gomez wants to try and limit the effectiveness of the
Otra vez
on the
Luego
high
Gomez
ground. The Flux
mitigando.
getting so much done. Eventually they have to try and drop. Get
Flux.
closer. They give up the point.
Oh, and it looks like actually got stunned out of the flux there potentially as Hysteria win for that. So it looks like
Ay,
Super Gomez
tomaron el
actually
punto bien.
may have nailed him with the accretion,
Chuten.
stunned him out. I think if you actually land that flux, you probably consider using sound barrier there and fighting that.
Pero no.
Taking that large chunk of damage, maybe get a kill or
Está
two off of that.
intenso, parce. O sea, estábamos
Really nice play there
47
by
minutos de
Super
video.
Gomez.
Déjame ver una cosa. ¿Puedo hacer esto?
Colombia, they're finding opening.
Yo no sé por qué a veces me da un poco rarito la
There's
configuración.
still a distinct ultimate advantage, but you know, things don't always
Pero no se me está trabando ni nada.
kind of rhyme or reason in this game. Ooh, okay, big chunk of damage there on Cersei. I think that was the tactical grenade coming in. I like this. Okay. Super Gomez trying to get an accretion hit to lock people inside the effective radius of a Bastion ultimate.
mate.
Blizzard, though, is more than enough. Hysteria was well extended onto the card here. Colombia paving the way to be really competitive here on Circuit Royal.
¿Cómo llegó May hasta ahí? No me digas que me jugó muro y roca y después. Jugadota. Porque no hay nada apoyando el push de Gómez. Viene. A ver, la juegan con el carro. La misma ventana se mueve sola.
The only ultimate you had at the time was Air Matrix. Hub pops that as soon as they build it up. And instantly, Angel Volado gets blown to smithereens. There's no time for Mexico to respond to that because they're
Watch
already
out.
throwing
Still
themselves
on.
bodily at the card. 2
Yeah.
minutes 44 to work with. Now, how good at Colombia?
¿Por qué tiene que ser Mela que se mueva al carro?
Taking
Bueno,
that
pues
high
está el
ground
pelo.
position with the window right here. If they can maintain this control and also get good
Mexico
card push,
know?
they're in great shape. They have to know.
I mean, look at where Angel Volado and Hysteria are. You think they know? I mean, it does not look like it.
Do we get two? Does Trobolux get caught in that? Unclear. Momo, though, gonna have to go for
Adiós, Momo.
Immortality Field, but still gonna get taken down. They went for an Air Matrix as well. Hysteria at the very least, though.
Saben a Bastion.
Blizzard thrown to the point might not be worthwhile
Muy
here.
bien.
Hysteria really just stalling. Super Gomez has to wait for the grasp to expire. Eventually, so will
Bien,
Hysteria.
Gomez,
You
bien.
bought some time, but you spent huge ultimates. Momo, you're partying with
You
that
bought
air matrix,
20
we have a switch
seconds.
to
I mean,
Genji.
it's not like you bought like, you know, it's not like you bought like a minute there. I mean, 20 seconds. I mean, that's not a huge amount of time.
Me está moviendo el carro.
Hysteria and Angel Blood, I don't think had any idea that they had wrapped all the way out to that window already. I think they had no clue because they turn the corner and they go to challenge the car.
Yo estaba usando a Genji. Ok.
Trevor here, having switched to the Genji, hoping to put some more pressure on Drummer, who's starting to become a real issue. Soundberry coming out in response there. A lot of respect for the ultimate.
Hola.
But meanwhile, Cersei trying to walk it in. Hysteria is so low, but
Ay, Roca.
Gomez inside the gravitic flux. Ice block won't be enough for Cersei. Buys a little bit of time, but still Colombia will be
Muy
with
casi.
left to play.
Yeah, you just jump off the side here if you're Colombia. You come back. You know, Blizzard.
Minuto 14.
Potentially, you know, artillery strike. You could kind of combo those. You can maybe even you know, use an amp matrix there to get some extra bastion damage, like force players around the corner. You just need to get this fight over with fast. And you can't allow, you know, too much time here to let the payload creep backwards. You can actually get it in a position where if you take this
Van a llegar por
fast
arriba.
and, you know, win it, you can actually probably, you know, score and win the game off of this.
Hola, mis equipos en compa entenderán lo importante que es el high ground, pero no. O sea, soy el único de rangos bajos que entiende lo importante que es el high ground.
Not really bothered by the Bastion ultimate by the looks of things. There's that Blizzard from Cersei. But Hysteria fell in that fight. Able to break through the Sigma is huge, but here comes Trobalax with the Dragon Blade. Momo, by the way. Fighting both opposing supports. And Mexico might have set themselves up to win the map outright.
Creo que la primera vez que se gana el tercer mapa.
Transcendence here coming
Creo.
up, and there's nothing on the other side. So you're going to be really healthy if you're Mexico with an opportunity.
Y lo habían pronosticado. Que se gana el tercer mapa.
Key Dragon Blade there. Momo though now showing us why they were
Sense ya
such a
tenía
huge moment from them.
Transcend.
Out of the picture, your Lucio was gone, and your ability to swarm over the card has now been diminished significantly. As has your life forces. Palette
Tremendo.
to sit on a Transcendence coming into the last fight. And Mexico
Tremendo la México.
even up the series,
Tremendo.
making this interesting. Just as we were hinted at.
Bien por México,
after
bien.
seeing the gameplay
Por
in map
México
one.
estoy bien ahí.
Yeah, and I thought
Wey, yo ya debo tener drops desde hace rato, pero el combate estuvo tan bueno que ni me di cuenta. Creo que otra vez vamos a terminar subiendo un video de 1 hora. No hay drops todavía, en serio. Ey, en serio, no hay drops todavía. 95% no te lo creo. Güey, es que te duras
To show what they're
mucho.
made of. And they've given us an incredibly competitive series so far. Circuit Royal could absolutely have
1-1.
gone either way.
Creo que la primera vez que se gana el
Say the
tercer
Momo
mapa.
substitution, even though Palette, they're sort of forced to move over towards the Lucio to facilitate for this. You can see why it makes sense. Mixed here, of course, this is that sound barrier for Colombia in that sort of first half. They really started to put pressure on Mexico. And we thought Colombia
Lo de
looked
Mexi
really
ahí
good
fue
here until they
tremendo.
get blown out further down the map.
Yeah, I thought even the potential for you know, a hold there is that's a nice grenade. See, that's what I was talking about. Not
Pero Ángel jugó súper bien esa parte del final. Vean eso. Esta parte fue la que jugó muy bien. Tremendo.
Just an elbow drop there from the top row with the artillery.
I like this play as well. Trobalax has to be super aware of that
Esa
connection.
4K ni se diga.
Making sure the Blizzard doesn't get gobbled up. And that's what we thought it was all happening for the defenders. We thought the game would be over there. The next fight though, that's where Colombia shows us a little bit of backbone here. Here's that sound barrier to really respect the ult from Angel Velado, but Hysteria able to rotate down after the
No usa la histeria. Juega la ulti pero baja de inmediato. Vamos a ver cuál escoge Colombia ahora.
We saw what they had for us on Samoa. We saw the flexibility in terms of tank.
Dorado. Y si maneja que escojan dorado será muy bacano.
Priced in to playing Sigma mirrors, at least at this level. So how do you emancipate yourself from restricting your tank player? That's what I want to see from Colombia.
Yeah, I mean, the next map selection, I think, is definitely going to tell you how they feel in terms of where the strength is and how they feel like they can.
Cojan dorado.
Mexico. I think it's been really close in those Sigma matchups where Mexico's gotten like the edge, right? You know, you would say where Colombia.
Creo que si Colombia pierde este combate ya está eliminado.
Doomfist base comes.
Right, that's something I look forward to seeing a little bit more of, because it really showed us their ability to actually fight on multiple fronts, right? We got to see like the Tracer Echo, the Doomfist look from them. That to me was quite exciting.
¿Dónde sacan la música?
Can you get a map pick, I guess, in map 3 that really allows you to
Yo
go for
que un
that?
street era muy obvio que ya se demora el robot ahora.
We've seen teams play the Rush styles, but also plenty of Doomfist play, even some Wrecking Ball.
Sigma en ese mapa no creo que combine.
Overwatch. I'm really excited to see what these teams formulate. Composition on New Queen Street. We're gonna have to wait though until after the break. Here it is, Mexico and Colombia going all the way to match point.
Güey, llevo para 1 hora de video. Y espero esa música no llegar a este doctor. Pero está buena. Bueno, mientras, esperen, regreso con correo. Bueno, mientras regresan en casi 2 minutos, aprovecho y les cuento que la final de la Horas World Cup se juega en la BlizzCon. Y la BlizzCon es bueno, el otro fin de semana. El otro fin de semana es Crunchyroll. De hecho, viendo el lunes, sería el Raw antes de Crunchyroll, que no sé muy bien las historias, que no ha vuelto a dar lucha, y de hecho muchos me lo han dicho, que no ha vuelto a resonar la lucha como antes. Es por lo mismo, o sea, güey, trabajar y estudiar es un boom total que no les da tiempo a ustedes. Entonces, para el viernes, es que Crunchyroll es súper temprano. Crunchyroll es como al mediodía. Y yo tengo clase. O sea, si para el viernes no hay ajuste de cartelera, yo les hago el video de las predicciones. Ok, creo que no he visto muy bien la cartelera de Crunchyroll. Si me lo preguntan, no la he visto muy bien. Pero creo que está decente. O sea, no hay como estipulaciones típicas de eso, pero sí, yo creo que les podría hacer a ustedes el video de predicciones. Y si no, pues es que tengo clase. O sea, a la hora que yo salgo de clase, empieza Crunchyroll. Y a la hora del kickoff, yo estoy en clase. Ojalá la profe se compadezca y deje salir 1 hora antes. Si llega a ser ese el caso, el sábado yo les hago otra vez directo. Sábado y domingo yo les haría directo. Intentaría regresar como por 2 días a Twitch. Mañana en la semana 2, el día 2 de Halloween Havoc. Entonces, tal vez pueda reaccionar. Tal vez podamos reaccionar, si lo quieren. Así estoy yo. Voy postura. Entonces, es una semanita movida. Semana movida. De hablar.
Again, the push maps in the past, we've seen teams try both approaches. We've seen plenty of rush compositions come out, obviously involving your longer range hit scan pieces. We had a lot of Sombra Winston play as well.
Winston Sombra valdrá muy bien para al estilo Overwatch League.
She was often brought in to really try and limit Doomfist's effectiveness, shut down that power block, and otherwise disrupt him in general. And that's maybe why we started to see it on Samoa, maybe why we might expect to see it here on beautiful New Queen Street. And this is a match that basically decides, you know, which of Colombia and Mexico keep themselves off the bottom of this group. They're both 0-1, having lost in 0-2s. So a win here would be great, but map differential, tough to claw back after, you know, facing a 0-2 here. You'd definitely love to get 2 maps in the win column.
Yes, see potentially what these teams
Ok,
decide here.
México sí sabe el combo. Sombra y Tracer.
Do it.
I think they're
Not
probably
even bad.
just. No, it's not. It's not bad. I think they're just.
Ah,
probably just
okay.
moving a little bit though. Starting
Van a
zone.
tener el mismo.
It's, I think Sombra's like kind of fallen out of favor as Winston has just because of.
Ah, si van por la otra puerta, llegan rápido.
It's not as easy to escape as Sombra anymore. As both teams come out with that mirror matchup, so we're gonna see this Sigma Bash and battle yet again.
As we've discussed, we talked about it on Samoa. Sigma definitely the safest pick, one of the most robust picks in the tank role you can make right now. Cersei maybe not ready for all the damage coming in from Angel Velado. A very early
Ah!
but Mixi getting a crucial environmental kill.
Mixi bufia.
More than that.
Apa, no.
And Mexico picking up where
Oh,
they left off.
me la comí yo también.
Denied a kill on Choverlax by that wall.
Yes, I mean it seemed like Colombia, you know, they went to get
Nice.
quite aggressive, I would say, and pushed right on in. And Mexico was more than.
¿Qué está haciendo yo? ¿Por qué le pegas en las nalgas al robot? No,
Few big kills early on, the kill on the Cersei.
ya están esperándose bien.
Just so much survivability for Selp and the rest of the team, and you know, they'll get that bot moving. Is gonna get, you know, these fights, like it kind of depends, right? Like look at the survivability.
Uy, será teamfight ahí.
Mexico has a chance of taking checkpoint here.
I don't hate that from Colombia, responding very quickly with a May wall of their own as both teams actually pull back after expending their immortality fields. Are you ready for this though? The air matrix from Momo, Super Gomez desperately trying to get back to safety, and they do just in time. Enough time for mixed features.
No.
Palette, they're a little further behind in terms of that old charge here, but this sound barrier might go for nothing if Colombia can't pick themselves up off the floor in this small room. A big gravitic flux potentially there from Hysteria, who gets dropped. Cersei was below half when they hit the ground. And that immortality field was tantalizingly out of reach. Drum able to find 2, that's important. Hug now on the back foot though, and that Maywall makes it so hard to help out with Super Gomez. They're still able to hang on though and get rid of May. Now backed up by Hug, Super Gomez should be able to hold their ground.
You know, Hysteria's still here, still holding on. As they find one. If this could say, if you could have kept,
Ya tomaron el robot.
if you had some players coming off the respawn, maybe you consider beating there. You're able to make that a little bit more interesting. But a decent first push of the barricade there for Mexico, 27 meters.
Might be a little bit of a rivalry brewing.
Tengo que bajarle un poco otra vez a la calidad.
Both Lucio after Palette is sent careening off the map for that environmental kill.
Van a tomar la esta, sí.
Crucially, Palette, they have the sound barrier in play. Here's a gravitic flux from Super Gomez.
Oh la la. Uy.
Sound barrier comes out here. Great response. Palette holding it just in time. And oh, you're caught inside the Bastion ultimate.
Ay, yo.
She down.
Drum lo que te acabas de hacer.
Starting to get out in front.
I mean, that is
Bien por Gomez.
huge there for Colombia as they're going to take the lead and not
Ah.
lead a few. You know,
Gomez esperándole para él.
towards the end. You're going to get this first checkpoint potentially. That
Bien,
is huge
bien.
there for Colombia. Big gravitic flux from Super Gomez.
Combo is out of control because the gravitic flux comes in. Palette just sound barriers
Yeah.
it. Drummer goes, okay, I'm going to send 3 mortars into the same spot inside this flux. Your sound barrier isn't going to matter. When
¿Por qué?
miscommunication
¿Por qué hiciste el
immortality field deployed for Drummer, they were full HP at the time.
De pronto fue un misclick.
Away with an air matrix now in play. Drummer still has a cheeky little flank angle, and Mixley has a sound barrier, so you can recover from this, especially if you get rid of Chobalux. And so they do.
Bien, Mixley, bien.
XP rather just drop straight back down. I don't think the May is ready for
Back
it at all.
off.
And a slight blooper, but Colombia's still in a power position.
Yeah, a little bit of a Custa there with the immortality field. Look like.
Ay, lo solo queda uno. Bien.
It could have been an ultimate.
Yeah.
Could have been an ultimate.
Immortality field basically is.
Bien.
But does not matter. It does not
Mineral
matter
Rod,
the fight
bien.
whatsoever as Colombia gets
10 minutos.
Blizzard here coming up. Nothing on the other side. I mean, you're in a Colombia's in a spot where they could finish the map.
Blizzard here. Do you bait them into the small room and go for a Blizzard? Yes, you do. Cersei gonna drop it down now. It's not eaten up by Hysteria at all. There's gonna be so
Ah.
Hysteria can back away from that.
Bien.
Grasp, but Cersei cleverly makes sure.
Oh, zero team kill.
And away from that hit
Qué grande decir
You have
que...
that massive combo, you
Bien.
have that flux plus
That
the
bullet.
artillery strike coming up here in a situation where Mexico may just need to like run
Güey,
onto
necesito
the
base como
barrier, right?
alarma.
Just any type of stall.
This has not been close so far.
Uy, se ve la roca casi se...
Super Gomez. Oh!
¡Ah, se la repitió!
Tardyfield won't save you because it is contacted by the mortar strikes first. It gets blown up and then the players
Se la repitió.
The wombo combo pays off and now Mixv walks into the next fight with a sound.
Nah, ¿te imaginas?
So they're getting ready for
Pao?
three artillery strikes coming down. It's Mixv sound barrier here. Paul doing a nice job.
Hola,
just
hola.
staying alive on the outside,
Doom.
trying to build that beat.
Oh, hey, hey.
Coming up now, and Matrix available for Hug. This is still very scary. Look how close the body is.
C9? Uy.
Angel Velada going for a defensive mortar strike, if I'm not mistaken, and that is a stunning accretion, catching Hysteria.
Es que Bob te pega unas salvadas.
The rest of Colombia topped up now. Drummer
Ay,
out of the picture, but
Sigma,
Super Gomez is
breve.
still looking fine. The Sigma's healthy, but here comes Paulette. Hug gets run down there. Momo able to find the kill in the end, and finally Colombia slowed up. You can't
Hey,
get
oh.
closer to the end of the map though, and it is a long.
This would be the run back of all run backs. It's 126 meters for Colombia.
Uy.
But he's still got 4 minutes. So
Okay,
still
Ángel va a usar a Tracer now.
time available for Mexico as they go. This is interesting because Mexico goes to a comp. I mean, I didn't think like Genji Tracer, right? But
Y cambiaron los
they
DPS
go
en
to
México.
a comp that I thought maybe Colombia would
tanque.
try and do something a little bit more, fast paced with the Doom in the mix.
Mexico setting up into here. The Tracer Genji play with the Doomfist now. Mexico realizing they cannot hang in a Sigma mirror on this map. Hysteria does at least have that Meteor Strike available, but another Cersei Blizzard could really throw a wrinkle in this. Here comes the blade from Chobolux. Can you get purchased? No, the Immortality Field is enough for now. But Hysteria
Gomez.
jumps on in, gets rid of Drummer. Will be the last
Mira
one
lo que es
standing
esto.
now as Colombia once more take an L.
Yeah, and Colombia ends up using their Blizzard there, right? So end up throwing the Blizzard in. Didn't get anything for it. You'll have to have Paulette. They'll go back and bring Chobolux back into the fight.
Ángel se va a volar otra vez por los lados de Colombia.
Mexico in the sense that like nobody else is really kind of like firing.
Y les va a caer por detrás. Ya casi tiene ulti.
Boost and healing resources, but win here and you get this checkpoint. You're kind of back in it.
3K? No creo.
Angel Velado lurking. The pulse bomb here.
Dude, there's no way Colombia can lose this. I mean,
No.
Yeah, they can
Ahí
lose
es donde la lance.
The Tracer does have to be respected, but it's a gravitic flux here. Oh, the sick!
¡Ay!
All right, no
nice
connect
speed.
there. Sound barrier was in play for Mixv. Great response to what could have been a frustrating Tracer ult. Colombia now back in the hot seat.
and here's the brutal part with push in that like Colombia wins that one fight. It basically erases those like 2-3 fights in a row that Mexico had won. Like they're basically starting at scratch, right? It's just extremely
Ángel está en high ground.
especially now,
Bob
2 minutes
tiene
off the clock from the
ulti.
last time Colombia had control
tiene
of the
ulti.
bot. As Mexico, you're gonna need to win 3-4 fights in a row to get back to in a spot where you can seriously get that bot over the line.
No flux to guarantee.
Uy, casi se la come.
With their Bastion ultimate, so Drummer just throws it out. Super Gomez under extreme pressure now, and Hysteria looking extremely healthy. Sound barrier from Paulette. An attempt there, and here is the power of Genji.
I need help
Up
here.
against the Bastion. Great defect there. Chobolux just removing Drummer from the equation, and they'll be switching over towards the Tracer now. Going for something a little bit different. Maybe Colombia hybriding up their composition to try and deal with this dive.
So Mexico will end up winning. So let's
bueno.
plot a course for Mexico to come back, right?
Okay.
You're going to get the bot all the way back.
Nanoblade
You don't have that
incoming,
first
bro,
checkpoint
maybe.
here. You're looking at potentially winning a fight off of
O Nano
Nanoblade,
Tracer.
right?
Que es lo que
Potentially
últimamente también se ve
even
en
with just
competitivo, ¿no?
Blade, right? You can kind of like save that nano.
Pero yo creo que es Nanoblade.
Nanoblade potential here. Okay, get this one out.
Va una.
Here, this is huge.
Van dos.
Gomez versus massive.
Van
The
tres.
extra kills all really just a garnish there for Chobolux.
Huge
We're
play.
plotting, I guess, our course here. That's a big fight with
4K
Mexico. They only
contaría.
have pulse for the next, though.
Yeah, and they end up using the meteor.
Ok, May
It's
tiene
like the
ulti
meteor
y
strike
podría
is
ser
like
buenísima
one
donde se haga un
side
team
player
kill con
down,
esa
like
ulti.
an interesting way to kind of use it, but really, if let's say Angel Volado gets a pick, but he actually I think got hit with an accretion. When we were on that overhead map for just a brief second, it said stun. So
Gómez ya casi tiene ulti.
hit with the accretion. I mean, that is brutal because the win condition there is to actually have him get a kill with a pulse bomb. Like anybody is good enough. So to not get anything and then have the bot now head back into the other side of the map, that is brutal. Like worst case scenario.
You have everything now. If you're Colombia, Gravitic Flux, both support ultimates and a Blizzard to play with. 20 seconds. A very
Tienes arriba. Mix está intentando tratar de matar a alguien arriba. ¡Ay! Se fue por Ana. Uy, casi lo duerme. Bien. Ángel se gastó su ulti. Histeria, ¿cómo aguanta? Drone 3K. ¿Qué es? Bien. Bien por Colombia, hijo puta. Bien. Lo que se sufrió, Dios mío. México jugó bastante bien. Bien. Órale. Mis 4000 puntos que me gasté en el canal valieron la pena. Bien. No me digas que no le mostré todo. No. Qué hueva, marica, no les mostré. No les mostré. Qué hueva. No les mostré. Dejé morir. Pelazo, pero bueno. Ya después les mostraré como por partes lo que fue. Porque son muy buenos. Se me pasa por no tener dos pantallas y poder estar mirando cuando cambio y no cambio. Ahora hay 10 minutos. O sea, podremos perfectamente irnos a los
against Colombia, although off to a really rough start there on Queen Street, giving up 127 meters, I think, or 126. Like, still, it had an opportunity to.
No, lo que fue ese combate, Dios mío.
If you give up that much push of the barrier early on, you need to win like 4 fights in a row to get that back, and they just couldn't do it.
The road ahead for Colombia includes a matchup against Finland. That might be one to decide second place. Colombia will have to step it up in a big way, though, if they want to have any chance.
Necesitamos ganarle a Finlandia ahora. Y toca ver Corea contra Finlandia también mañana. Sí, es que juegan mañana. Bien, venga, esperen. ¿Cómo no les mostré, Dios mío? Bueno, para acá. Acá. Ahí llegan 7 minutos. Un buenísimo momento. Pero lo que sí Cere y Momo juegan bastante bien. Ese Inmortales Pilanos. Pero Trump sí supe astuto. Muy buena ulti ahí. Boom. Back up.
Yeah, a little bit of a Custa there with the immortality field. Look like, you know, just kind of.
O sea, es que la ventaja que logró Colombia en esta parte, buenísima.
But does not matter. It does not impact the fight whatsoever as Colombia gets rolling. Blizzard here.
Buenísima, hasta por acá. 126, es que viene el rod, quedó besando la base. Y es cuando Ángel se cambió a Tracer.
for Colombia, but you still got 4 minutes. So still a ton of time available for Mexico.
Bastante bueno.
This is interesting.
Bueno el combate. El barra fue que no mostré la esta, pero buenísimo. Estuvo.
Somehow stopped them, but then after that they had
El Drum se hizo bastante
team
2K
fights,
con
but they just couldn't, close it
con
out, so it was
Bastion.
Colombia getting the win at the end. Yeah, that was a good
Sa-
lead as well. I think Colombia just the team in general, it was a team effort, Johnny, like you said.
Yeah.
El muchacho,
Definitely.
qué bonito se ven.
Great job to Colombia. Mexico, unfortunately, 2 losses right now. Yeah, Zoe, are you back? We're hearing you.
Believers in the chat.
Throw anyone off by surprising.
speak now.
I may speak. And so
Estamos
I
ver
shall.
Finlandia,
No,
Corea,
honestly,
parce, me tiene
one thing I just
mordiéndome las
keep on
uñas este
wanting to hammer
partido.
home about, this
Finlandia, Corea,
Colombian team
bro,
is just-
háganlo ya real.
Imagine you're, playing
No,
Fire
si no
with
vas-
the Fire with EQO, you have that star
Yo me largaré a trabajar.
and then your head coach
Como buen colombiano toca camellar. Pero les haya gustado el video, perdónenme por el fail. No supe que no me he mostrado, pero desventajas de no estar en directo. O sea, si me hacen falta los directos, no les miento, si me hacen falta los directos, pero pues. Pero también tengo que trabajar para yo poder mejorar el computador y traer más contenidos. Ahora me han traído juegos, bueno, no, me han recomendado juegos de terror. Tengo ganas de jugar un juego de terror, pero tiempo al tiempo. Entonces, de pronto el otro fin de semana con Jewel, super directo a Mega Variante. Entonces, síganme en Twitch. Y haciendo más, nos veremos en el próximo video. Bye bye.